Hey everybody, welcome to AWS On Air. My name's Chad Lacey. I'm a global sales strategist with AWS, and I'm joined with my good friend Jillian.
Hi everyone, my name is Jillian Ford, and I am a solutions architect. And we've got the folks here from Aerospike. We've got Bill and Mitch. So please introduce yourselves.
Well, thanks. Hey, Chad. Hey, Jillian, thanks for having us. I'm Bill Odell, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer at Aerospike. I'm coming to you live from the Big Data London event here, which is just jam-packed full of people wanting to know more about Aerospike and what's going on in the data world.
And I'm Mitch Kemp. I'm the VP of Client Services here at Aerospike, and I'm coming here to you from my hotel room, which is not as exciting as Forever Bowl is.
Well, we really appreciate you both being with us. Bill, I kind of want to start it with you. So when we were last together, I believe back in August 3rd at Silicon Innovation Day, we introduced everybody, the audience, to Aerospike, and we were talking about Nitro SSDs.
Right.
But today we wanted to kind of pull back the curtains on something else you all have been working on and talk about how Aerospike is uniquely positioned to solve some problems with real-time data at scale. Can you tell us some more about that, please?
Yeah, sure. I think we've all heard over the years, I certainly have over my long career, about the explosion of data. I spent quite a bit of time at Dell, and Michael would get up every year at the user conference and talk about the exabytes and petabytes and zettabytes and whatever bytes, and it's never going to end, right? And I think the most interesting thing is now that the creation of that data is being driven by phones, sensors, cars, appliances, devices in your home. There's just a plethora of things that are connected to the internet that are creating more and more data every single second of every single day all around the world. And that data is landing within IT organizations and being stored. And the question really is, what can companies do with that real-time data that's coming in a constant stream to create new businesses, new business models, and competitive advantage? And that's what Aerospike is really all about, is helping companies take advantage of real-time data to create sustainable competitive advantage. And if I were going to give you some companies to think about, if you think about a PayPal and what they pioneered in the online payment space, everybody would look at them and say they created a new category. If you look at a company like Schwab that created the category of discount brokerage, if you look at Wayfair that created a completely different way to buy furniture online, every single one of those companies has taken advantage of data in a unique way to create market cap value, sustainable competitive advantage, and a real unique customer experience. And that's what I think we're here to try to help companies do.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, I work with early stage startups, and I see that as part of a data strategy. A lot of people don't really start to think about real-time data unless they know immediately that they have that use case. And so something that I always encourage startups to is start thinking about other different data sources, because the cost of that data is going to be much less than the actual long-term value. So thinking about a real-time data strategy early on is definitely going to pay dividends.
Yeah, and Jillian, you're right. And I think what we try to advise companies is don't think about the amount of data you're consuming now, particularly the smaller companies. Think about the scale you're going to have in 1, 2, and 3 years out.
Yep,
because
absolutely.
The scale is going to come, and it's going to come faster than you think. And if you plan and architect for that scale now, you're going to be better off than trying to re-platform down the road.
Yeah. I think something that's really interesting about Aerospike that I'd love to hear more about is because I was going on your site, and a lot of times when people are thinking about a database in the beginning, as what a lot of people are taught, you have to think about the trade-offs between consistency and performance. And I know Aerospike has a certain approach to that. So I'd love for everyone to really understand how Aerospike approaches that.
Yeah, I'll do it at a high level, and
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to Mitch to get into the bits and bytes. But I mean, from the inception, Aerospike was architected to take advantage of the latest hardware. So we literally are approached by every storage and memory and CPU vendor around the world, and they're always asking us, can you please take a look at our latest stuff and can you performance test it and put it through its paces. In fact, we produce those reports all the time. And the advantage we have there is we just can give you a unique way to take advantage of hardware to give you the combination of performance and scale in a very unique way that is unmatched in the industry, okay? So we can put more data on any node than any vendor. We can save you a lot of money, but not, by controlling server sprawl. But in terms of data consistency, which has been the Achilles heel of every NoSQL vendor since its inception, we have figured out, we just released Aerospike 6. We figured out in Aerospike 4 a way to actually pass a test, the test that everybody tries to pass called the Json test, that basically proves we don't lose data, which is very difficult in a distributed architecture when you're using unstructured data and you're moving that data around all the time. And we passed the test, and we have many companies in the financial services industries that have chosen us because in the data world with a financial institution, you can't be off by a penny. So you have to figure out how to be consistent and not lose data in any transactional type of workload, or you can't even get into some of the large banks, which we've been successful doing. So it is a trade-off. We've solved it. We've solved it now for many, many years. And we're happy to be here to help companies that are looking to solve those trade-offs.
That's really cool. And Bill or Mitch, whichever one you might want to take this. So I know before we were talking about you were leading into how you were able to do more work on fewer nodes and take advantage of a lot of the hardware. A lot of our customers have been asking about Graviton and Aerospike and where Aerospike's headed with Graviton. And I think you had some pretty interesting information around sustainability there.
It's the question that always comes up in events like this. I was at reInvent last year on an AWS on air, and I was asked that same question. And we will be making some announcements here very shortly. Invite everybody to come to visit us at reInvent this year. We will be talking about that. But most importantly, we've been working with AWS engineers on optimizing our release. We have numbers, I can't share them with you now, on early release code that are going to be stunning. And we'll announce those numbers at reInvent. Stay tuned. But I think what we're excited about is the ability to continue to push the envelope on price performance and also TCO. Yeah. Because what I love about Amazon is they proactively work with their customers to say, here's some ways we think that we can help you reduce cost. That is unique for the business that you're in. But we also do that as well because we just can help companies significantly reduce their server or instance footprint. And so with Graviton, it only gets better. And there's an unbelievable sustainability story there too, because the less infrastructure that you're consuming, the more that you are not increasing or hopefully decreasing your carbon footprint. So we're very excited. We've got some news coming up, nod, wink, wink, and we'll be happy to share details with you shortly.
Well, I appreciate that. I think it's a great way of teeing up Mitch there because it's not just about TCO, but it's able to do it at scale. And specifically, Mitch, I think you were going to talk about what you were doing with DocumentDB.
Yeah. So let's just talk about how, we have some secret sauce on how we scale, and it's called our hybrid memory architecture, which enables us to scale the petabyte scale on a single cluster. And we do this, we were designed to do this from the onset as a next generation database. We weren't designed based on a lot of the old technology like LSM trees. And what we see in that all our competitors are, they're pretty good at 2 terabytes or 1 terabyte. And as soon as they start to get to 5 terabytes, they start to fall off. And by the time they hit, 10 terabytes, they all kind of disappear. And what we've designed in our architecture is an ability to do petabyte scale with sub-millisecond response times where we have customers that, I had one customer talk about 30 million transactions per second in a single cluster. So, and we have a great study out there with AWS where we were doing a petabyte database with 5 million transactions per second, and we're doing it at 5 nines. So wow. And it's only 20 nodes of I3ENs. And there's no other platform out there that can do that kind of scale, period. So it's really exciting to kind of get out there and do that. And that enables us to do multiple petabytes at a very cost-effective rate for our customers. And generally, we take out about 80% of the infrastructure cost against any of our competitors. And so it's just what we do every day. We benchmark this. We do little bake-offs with customers, with other competitors every day. And every day we go in and say, okay, let's see how you work at 10 terabytes and let's cost it out. Because if you don't think you're going to be at 10 terabytes real soon, I did get my new iPhone here. I like to show it. A lot of money for it, but it has a terabyte on my new iPhone. So if you're struggling at 5 terabytes, you got to start thinking about your real-time strategy and your strategy for scale. So let me hit another thing real quick. So we were designed as we're a multimodal real-time data platform. And what that enables us to do is we can do graph models, we can do IoT models, we can do NoSQL models, and we can do what's getting really popular now is document stores. We're seeing Mongo just runs out at about 2 terabytes. They start to fall off. And so when your use case gets beyond that 2 terabyte thing, the cost to maintain and build on infrastructure to support it, it's really heavy. So we're seeing a huge pull from the client base that's dealing with this kind of problem, saying, hey, can you help us?
And what are the supported data types?
We use what we call collection data types. And collection data types allows us to do int strings, GeoJSON and other probabilistic, like hyperlog log. We've been doing that since version 4.4. And it's a natural for us to be able to support a JSON, because JSON is actually a subset of what our collection data types do. And so if we can what we did was we built an API that you can basically do JSON path queries for all the CRUD operations. And we support all the main operators that you'll usually see in JSON path. And so, let me just take you through some real quick code examples. So you can do basically, when you're inserting a record, you're just basically doing a put, and you specify the JSON node that you want and the bin that's going to go into. And then for a read, it's a simple get, and you specify the JSON path and the key. And same thing for any inserts or updates. You're basically using JSON path, which pretty much everybody's familiar with, who's in the document space, and it's very easy to update and migrate your code into Aerospike. We've seen customers do migrations and moving their code base to Aerospike within weeks. Wow. And so it's really simple and easy, and then they get the performance and scale that they need. So it's become a very popular model for us.
So I'm sure a lot of people are ready to want to get started. So really, where's the next place that people should go to actually get started?
Yeah, they can just get started on developer.aerospike.com. That's the easiest place to get out there and get going. There's also an AWS Quick Start, which if you're setting up the infrastructure, you can get out there and work with, and just get in touch with us, and we'll help you get set up and get started and start migrating your code or whatever else you need to do to get to understand the value prop that we have.
And Mitch, as I understand it, on the developer.aerospike.com site, you've also got an academy if people want to get even deeper in.
Yeah, we have extensive training in our academy that you can go in. There's a free code for developers to go out there and start using and start to dive deep into how the Aerospike data models work. But most developers I know, they just want to get up there and start writing code. So you can do that, and we have some sandboxes out there you can play with. Doesn't cost you anything. You can go out there and start writing code within a few minutes.
That's absolutely fantastic. Gentlemen, I want to thank you both for being on the show today. It's great to hear from you. And I also look forward, I know we're going to get back together again just before reInvent in November. I think you've got even bigger information you're coming out.
We're going to talk about some things.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some
things. Yeah, we'll
things.
come back and talk about what we're going to be doing there at reInvent with you guys. And we're excited, and we'll hear more and more about Graviton as we get closer to that event, okay?
Yeah. Sounds good, Bill. I appreciate the tease.
All right, guys. Take care. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.